norm will be single-parent families. And we are continually passing on weaker families generation after another because we don't want to interrogate what could be happening in the society. Neither the church, nor the corporate organizations, nor the schools. We are all quiet about this subject. This is one motivation I launched this club. To be one lone voice that will be speaking the truth in Kenya, uncensored. And look this. You see, with those tones are the messenger. We are about correction. We are stiff-necked people who have employed pastors to tell us what our itching ears want to hear. We are a generation that has normalized divorce, and the primary reason would be we engage in uncovenanted sex and quit marriage at the slightest pressure and pain. Slight challenges, a toothache, a headache, somebody packs his clothes and leaves. We no longer see the institution as a lasting institution. So I invite you to a sober discussion tonight. In retrospect of the society's traits and in introspect of God's standards, which are meant in our interest, our best interest, so that we may pass on to our children's children better values than we are having. I believe the fact that we still have newborn children today is evidence that God has not yet given up on us. In 1884, Richard Dungday realized there were 6 inmates from one family. Intrigued by this phenomenon, he decided to find out where they came from, and he was able to trace them down to the family of a man by the name Max Jukes, born in 1720. Together with his wife, they had 6 girls and 2 boys. After analyzing 1,200 of their descendants, he found out 52.4% of all girls born in that family ended up as prostitutes. 310 of them were paupers and homeless. 300 of them died before the age of 30. 180 were alcoholics, 160 were drug addicts, 150 were incarcerated in prison for an average of 13 years each. 67 of them died of syphilis, then a killer disease, and 7 of them had committed murder. Kids from one family. A family that was in and out of prison on several occasions, in the prison of New York because of disorderly misconduct. And that what became of his generations. During the same span in history, they decided to study the man by the name Jonathan Edwards, born in 1703, married to one woman. For 31 years until the day he died, they were blessed with 11 children. They found out from this man, then president of Preston University and a famous theologian, 13 of their descendants out of the 1,400 studied ended up as university presidents. 66 of them were university professors and another 66 were physicians. 75 of them either served in the army or in the navy. 85 of them wrote classic books that sold all over the US and Canada. 100 of them were senior attorneys, including 32 US state judges. And 80 of them were senior government officials, including 3 governors, 3 senators, 1 comptroller of the US Treasury, and the 3rd vice president of the United States, Vice President Aaron Burr, who served as President Thomas Jefferson. Contemporaries, different results. Our father's influence goes to the 4th generation after him. While there is little you can do about your ancestors, there is something you can do about your descendants. The Swiss government commissioned a study just to check the influence of fathers in the society, and this is what they found. If a father and a mother regularly attends church, there's a 33% chance that all children will go to church and 25% chance that the children will not go to church. If, however, the mother alone goes to church regularly and the father never attends church at all, there is a meager 2% chance that all kids will go to church and a 60% chance they will never attend church at all. If the father attends church and the mother does not, there is a 44% chance that the kids will go to church and a 34% chance that they will not go to church. I was intrigued to realize that when a father attends alone, kids are likely to go to church more than when they attend with a wife. I don't want to speculate why. Neither am I suggesting the women should stop going to church. But again, it's interesting to observe that if the father goes to church, there's a 44% possibility, and if the mother goes to church, there's a 2% possibility that they'll end up in church. The Christian faith, or rather Jesus, whom the majority of you profess to be Lord and Savior, entrusted 12 men, all men, to pass on the Christian faith to the next generation. That is not Old Testament thinking. This is as new as the New Covenant. Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, Sikhism, and Judaism. The father is the priest of the family. When it comes to Christian families, it is the mother who leads prayers, suggesting to the children praying is an inferior activity for women. When it comes to the Christian faith, a maximum of 40% males attend church and 60% females attend church. And the 40% who attend church, the majority are dragged by their wives to church. Another study done by the Baptist Press showed that, still on the influence of fathers, revealed that if the mother is the first one in a household to become a Christian, there's a 17% possibility that they will all become Christians, or rather, they will become a Christian family. But if the father is the first one to convert to Christianity, there's a 93% chance that that family will end up becoming a Christian family. Another survey by MSNBC, a secular survey, revealed that when a father is present in the life of a child, they are much more less likely to be involved in premarital sex. And while the mother has an influence, they found out the influence to starve a child's sexual hyperactivity is half that of the fathers. The study further suggested a lot of children incarcerated in prison, those who are depressed, those involved in juvenile delinquency, and those in drugs, majority of them either had a passive or an absent father, or a father who was disinterested, disjointed, or just merely absent. I'm alive to the fact that what I've just shared with you is very disturbing to the single mothers in our midst and to those who will ever listen to this live recording. And for those among you who are already disturbed by what I'm saying, you have a choice to make. One is to throw stones at the messenger today. And another one is to say, suppose what he's saying is the truth. What can I do about it? And I want to congratulate you because a lot of great men and women were raised by single mothers. So something kept me down. And therefore, let me just suggest some 4 things I think the single parents in our midst, the single mothers in our midst can do. If I'm a single mother, I'll do the 4 things. Number 1, I'll be a good role model to my son and to my daughter. Over 10 years ago, I was speaking to boys in a high school. A young man came to me at the end of my presentation in tears. I said, what's going on? I hate every female teacher. Why is that? I come from a single parent family, and every time I go home over the holidays, my mom brings a different man to that house. Single ladies in our midst, believe me, that child is looking up to you as a role model. What can I do as a single mother? Number 2, do not speak ill about men, especially her father. She was not involved in what led to your separation with this man, and she will never know the truth. The only thing she can hear is your version of the story. And by consistently demonizing her father or men in general, you set up your girl to be a single mom and generations after her. You have no business determining that course for that girl. And she does not have the capacity to handle marriage. That's why she's a kid. What would I do as a single mom? Number 3. I'll try to introduce good male role models in the house who will not take advantage of my vulnerable points. They don't have to come to your house. By talking about good role models could imply people you even meet and play together as families. So they meet with your son or your daughter, and you're deliberate about it. You're connecting with this family for them to hear a father's voice. And number 4, I'll commit my kids to God in prayer daily in their hearing. I'll not just play in the closet. I'll like them to hear what I'm asking God to do in their lives and for them. Do not underestimate what their heavenly Father can do in the absence of their earthly father. That said, I ask tonight, where are our fathers? Where did these people go? You'll be judged, any father hearing my voice, for any child you left by the roadside. I challenge you, if you're here today or you're listening to this live recording, go discuss with your wife. Be bold enough. If you need help, ask for help. But discuss it so that you may pick up that child you left somewhere. I tell you the truth. Any single act of mercy or sacrifice or giving you do to church are nonsensical, meaningless, and immaterial in the eyes of God if you cannot take care of your primary responsibility. This is not easy as I'm saying it from this platform. You might need help, but believe me, you would rather deal with the struggle of facing your wife and confessing it, rather than whining and dining elsewhere as your own child suffers. You're carrying a curse. Now, fathers, you're the voice of your daughters. They hear your voice in them. So be gentle and firm. A mother's love has no conditions. She's the soft landing for any child. But let's face it, a father's love is a little bit negotiable. So she goes out of her way because if she gets his approval, her self-confidence soars high, goes up. Regrettably, most fathers commit girls mainly on 3 things: academic achievement, athletic prowess, and their physical appearance. Nothing wrong with this. But every time you overemphasize on that, the girls runs heaven and earth trying to achieve more in academics or in sporting activities or in physical appearance. When a girl decides to focus on her physical appearance, sometimes they can take drastic measures, including anorexia and bulimia eating disorders. What's that? Anorexia is a situation whereby a girl becomes overly obsessed with her weight. She can stop eating. Now, bulimia goes beyond that, where she can even induce vomiting and other dangers in her body to get the right body shape, of course, after eating. But you know, there's no such a thing as an ugly teenage girl. Every teenage girl, even if her skin is marred with acne, it still glows. She's still gorgeous, even if slightly overweight, slightly underweight. It is magazines and music videos and the male hierarchy that tries to thrust an impossible standard on unassuming teenage girls, and they kill themselves trying to measure up with celeb girls who are just airbrushed. Every girl is good looking. That's the truth. But I charge fathers to concentrate more on intrinsic beauty, inner values. Compliment her more on character. Compliment her more on her ability to be a good listener, her ability to be a team player, her ability to relate well with others, to speak kindly and to be humble. Call the inner beauty out of her, things that no one can steal away from her. Take her for a date so that she learns the difference between lust and love. A lot of men get very uncomfortable when girls begin to mature up. We get very uneasy in their presence. What you don't realize, you're setting her up to fill that gap with her male peers who may not be in her best interest. So don't create that vacuum. Fill those shoes. Remember this. You should be modeling the type of a man she expects to marry. You see, women tend to gravitate towards that which is familiar. So she looks up to you, the way you treat her and her mother, to know what type of a man she should expect someday. You know, fatherhood is the highest manifestation of masculinity. But for most males, this life consists of the search for the lost father, the father who never was. Are you a lost father to someone? But if you're here tonight and you've been searching for your father who forsook you, I need to let you know there is a father who will never leave you nor forsake you all the days of your life. Do you know him? For the last 100 years or so, we've tried to undermine the role of fathers in the family and in the society. We've thrown the baby with the bathwater. We've dismissed the pater with the patriarchy. And everybody is floundering on the role of the father and why they need the males. Why, men, did we drop the ball? I'll explain to you. This was not just about men. It's a societal crisis. You see, we reduced the role of a father to one role, the provider. And if father is only the provider, and today's mother is able to provide, and some of them are able to provide more than the father, then they begin to question, then why do I need a man in my life? So that even if he goes home, he has to look for another role. For example, father the disciplinarian. So you hear the mother saying, wait until my daddy comes. Or he becomes father the audience. So the child comes from school and the mother says, go tell your daddy what you did today. If the father's role is purely providing, then can I suggest today's father, the overwhelming majority of them are inescapable failures. Disappointments and losers and buffoons because they are not rich and famous. What is disillusioned perspective of fatherhood? The relationship between a father and a son is what will determine whether that boy will grow to be a life-giving figure, or rather he will walk in this life ashamed, recoiled, withdrawn, and pulling back from being exposed as a failure by the money-minded society. It is your responsibility, father, to tell your son that the true measure of fatherhood is his ability to raise his own children irrespective of his standing in the society. It is your responsibility as a father to let the boy know there is not a single moment all the men will be at par financially. It's a battle you'll never win. Am I speaking to someone? See, our kids have chosen to die or die trying. They are ready to do anything, either to rob a bank or to commit suicide, because the standards are too high, set by many fathers who stole from the government or elsewhere. Of course, there are also others who succeeded in the right way. But the success of a father must not be measured on his ability to provide alone. That should only be one parameter. I also did not want to share this point, so let's go to number 3. It was also not interesting for me. Let's go to lesson 3. What was lesson 3, if you can remember? Bring out the best out of your child. Dr. James Dobson did a study on 35,000 parents just to check whether strong-willed children or compliant children who had problem with low self-esteem. And he found out 19% of compliant children dislike themselves, while 43% of strong-willed children disliked themselves. In essence, what he found out was this: strong-willed children have a higher chance of low self-esteem than compliant children. One would have expected reverse findings. And that's the good thing with statistics. My background is statistics. And I'm sure you notice every time we talk here, I like quoting numbers, because numbers don't lie. Now, watch this. The strong-willed child knows she is a difficult child. They have been taught that day in, day out by parents, teachers, and peers alike. So they know they are difficult to get along with. And so they harbor a certain dark fear within them that someday you, their parent, who profess to love them unconditionally, will give up on them. Will you? Our topic tonight is very personal to me. Barely 2 months to my 18th birthday, my father gave up on me. I wasn't a naughty or a mischievous child, both in high school and in the university. I was in the Christian Union leadership, and I have some witnesses in the house today. But we disagreed sharply about the course I wanted to take. I particularly wanted to go into public speaking, and I sensed this calling when I was in Form 2. So when I did my last exams, high school exams, I went out on a speaking engagement in a church, so I went home a day late. And there was such a sharp dispute between my father and I literally walked out from home at 10 p.m. at night, never to return. And I had to figure out what life is all about. Now, let me make a disclaimer here. Like many parents, my father did what he did, not because he hated me. My father did what he did because he desperately loved me. My dad is an academician, he's a lecturer. And he thought what I was doing is going to interfere with my academic progress. He did that in good faith to protect me. Let me hasten to add, many years have since passed since my father and I made up and put our past behind us. And now we look at the past with a good sense of humor. But I want to use it as an example because I don't want you to try this at home. If you try it at home, a number of kids will give up, not just on academics, but even in life. Don't try it at home. But I'm saying this because strong-willed children will either, one, withdraw and recoil, or hit back aggressively, like I did. And if you try to manipulate them financially because you're the provider of the shilling in that house, then I guarantee you when they become financially dependent, you might lose them for good. My suggestion for you when you're dealing with a strong-willed child, they already know there is a price they're going to pay for taking decisions contrary to your advice. But assure them of any single price they're going to pay, your love is not one of them. Your love for them will outlast, outlive any single decision they will ever make. You see, God places in your hands raw materials for you to form. You can't change the material form, but you can mold it. The material form is the personality of the child. But you can mold the clay to a certain direction, to a certain future, just like a gardener directs a young tree. So I suggest tonight, be an observant parent, because sometimes some of the weaknesses that teachers and parents point are amazing talents and gifts that the child possesses. Some children are gifted with numbers. They can calculate offhand. They can remember numbers in an amazing way and degree. I had a teacher in my first year who was teaching us statistics. His name is Marley Humphreys. How many here tonight know the teacher by the name Marley Humphreys? Anyone? One hand. I'm sure there are many others. 2 hands, 3 hands. Marley Humphreys, many years after I left the university, addresses me to date with my admission number. He knows all the students he taught with their admission numbers. You can confirm. Now, they teach together. Professor Beria is the dean, the School of Human Resources, and she can confirm. He taught me statistics. Now, don't tell me he did that because he was teaching statistics. I was taught by many people in statistics. That's a gift. You agree with me? Some children are gifted with memory. They can remember things. You get shocked. You did something 10 years ago and they have the memory of a woman. And this type of children can do well in medicine because you don't want someone who can forget some medical equipment in your womb after operation. And, you need, and they can do well as lawyers who can remember cases after cases offhand. Some children who are gifted in numbers can do accounts of, they can do actuarial science, or they can do statistics, or they can do finance. Some children are gifted in sports, and that could be where their career is. Others are gifted in music, a very huge industry. Identify and begin investing in musical instruments and musical classes. Some kids are gifted in maps, and they like checking the atlas every moment, and they might be doing navigation someday, or piloting, or become a captain in the high seas. Some children are just gifted in listening. They can listen and listen and listen, and these could be good counselors in the future. Others are gifted in just sitting down. They can sit the whole day. And these are good people at the call centers. You know, there are some careers they just require you to sit the whole day. But some other children like traveling all the time. They can't stay anywhere at any given moment. And they should pursue careers in tourism. They need to be on the move. They can join tours and travels. There are some children who make noise throughout, from the time they wake up to the time they sleep. And they can make very good people as cheering squad. Or they can join parliament. But others don't just speak, they like criticizing throughout. And you should encourage them to join opposition politics. There are other children who just like fighting. And you know, there's a nice career as a bouncer. Or they can join wrestling. The other kids who like tasting things in the house, in the fridge, tasting things, tasting. They can become good tasters. They are needed in the coffee industry and the tea industry. They can even become mixologists. There are some children who just like flowers. They pick flowers everywhere. And they can either become floriculturists besides being romantic in their marriages. There are kids who like drama and theatrics, and that's a huge industry, isn't it? Yes. You agree with me? Yes. There are some kids who like working with their own hands. Hands manipulation, and these are good engineers. If you don't like working with your own hands, that would be a boring career. There are some children who just like drawing, and they can do fine art, or architecture, or art and design. There are some kids who climb chairs, they climb bears, they climb everywhere, and they can be very helpful to Kenya Power in putting up posts, isn't it? Or they can become mountaineers like Sir Edmund Hillary, or tightrope artists like Carl Wallenda. That's a very interesting gift, climbing everywhere. Almost anything you mention, there are kids who are just passionate with other children. They just love other kids. And there are many careers along that line, especially pediatrics in medical world, or they can become teachers. There are a lot of you, if you're given children for 5 minutes, you'll be admitted somewhere. Does that make sense? We have different interests. And I'm suggesting, please try to observe what your child likes and nurture it. Nurture it. Not everybody will fit in blue-collar jobs or white-collar jobs. Some are just good in creating humor, and they can join Churchill as comedians. There are some kids who just like cutting clothes in the house throughout, and they are training to be fashion designers. Can we go to lesson number 4? Lesson number 4. Give children a choice. Give children a choice. In His infinite wisdom, God gave us free will to choose what we want. Strong-willed children covet this gift than the rest of us. Try to show them that they have no choice over their body, their clothes, their schoolwork, their life. Because for them, and from their perspective, it's mine. And if you try to snatch what they think is rightfully theirs, they will fight back like a cornered cat. So let me suggest, it is pointless to keep arguing with a child below the age of 7 the color of the toothbrush to buy. Spare your energy for more serious battles ahead. And in fact, even the whole aspect of brushing, rather than telling them you must brush because they don't like the word must, share with them how a smelly mouth can put people off. That's the language they understand. It can make their teeth to decay. They will brush before you tell them. And have a clear to-do list. They like checklist. They want to know what you want me to be doing. They don't want you to keep adding rules anyhow. Between the age of 7 and 10, they are sometimes questioning why they have to sleep earlier than you. They think I'm going to bed, let's all go to bed. And what you need to do as a parent is to outsmart them and share with them the number of hours every single age needs to sleep for them to be productive, not just you, so that they find you objective, because that's what they're looking for. Now, you realize when it is now preteens, the girls are likely to be fond of wearing torn pants. And this will be very controversial, I'm going to tell you. I'll actually suggest to you, allow them to wear that very torn pant to the shop to buy sugar and come back. So that you spare the energy for Sunday morning when you need her to cover a large march.